But they've also just joined a union, a lifelong union with Ghana. You got your citizenship yesterday. And there's something that the professor said here, that to be removed from the land of your enemy. Is this how you considered America, where you actually grew up?
We moved for our safety and our children's safety. It is unsafe in the States, no matter where you go if you look like us. Getting out of the land of our enemy was priority number one, to make sure that no matter what we did to build a business or to simply just live the simple life, we will be protected in that.
Nakia, is this also what you think?
This situation is like a town hall discussion. You have the African Americans on the left side, and all of them are wearing African garb, okay? They're like real pro-black, and they just got their citizenship, okay? And on the right side, the further right side, are all of the Ghanaians who are dressed more or less as Europeans, right? And these Ghanaians are pushing back on some of the ideologies that African Americans are there. And so they're saying, hey, the African Americans are, rising the prices up, and we want to go where they came from. So that's the kind of debate that's going on here.
Nakia, is this also what you think, land of the enemy? Is this what Baltimore was to you?
For example, in Baltimore, we have the highest, a very strong crime rate in my city. And I think that is due to the fact that people are completely lost. And so all of that anger and aggression gets pushed out onto the streets, and then we're suffering. For me, even I think back when I was in school, and doing university, I remember I used to go on my phone and try to find an app to look at, to listen to radio stations in Accra, just to hear the language. And I remember one night I was just sitting there and I almost just cried, just to not to know that this was taken from me.
You're shaking now as you have goosebumps everywhere. Actually.
Because my great grandmothers, these are the songs that they would sing. These are the languages that they would use, and we don't have them anymore.
So this is the reason that they're trying to explain to the other Ghanaians why they are coming back to Ghana as African Americans. Why are they leaving the great USA? So you've already heard it's too much crime, it's not safe, and this lady wants to reconnect with her roots.
And it's even hard to explain how that stealing of our identity impacts our hearts. And so when you see us celebrating, and when you see us happy to be in Ghana, even though we know the conditions aren't great here, the economy is not great, but slavery left a deep wound in all of us. It left a deep wound. And when you see us coming, it's because we're trying to heal that wound that was placed.
Okay. Thank you so much for being so honest and vulnerable with us. I appreciate that. Let me speak to Mr. Kwesi here, who is the CEO of the Tourism Board, which is behind this initiative. There's a lot of pain and trauma and fear that a lot of people are escaping coming into this country. But was this your idea when you launched this initiative?
Yes and no. Yes, we knew that we had to make the connection because we've been separated for far too long and we didn't understand each other. And so, yes, the idea was, let's reconnect, let's bring us together and see how we can work together, cultural exchanges, tourism, investments, and everything that makes us one people.
Okay.
But no, because we realized that it goes deeper than just a reconnection. It also for people to come and heal. Really, people trace their roots, come back to where it all began.
Okay, so you were told come back to Africa. Here you are. I want to now know, what have your experiences been? The reality versus what you might have expected. Nakia, earlier you said that the state of the economy is not great, and yet here you are. Why?
I think where Africa beats America in development is social development, in terms of how people are raised in here and having respect for your elders. I struggled a lot with my mother. My mother passed about 2 years ago. I actually was taking care of her for 5 years by myself, because I couldn't get my family to understand that we as a family should take care of my mother together. But here in Ghana, you don't have that problem. You don't even really see nursing homes.
Absolutely facts. That is one thing that I would say about living in Africa. I'm not in Ghana, but in Uganda. Community is better here in a lot of ways. Not every way, but in a lot of ways. It's a lot of support. There's a lot of working better as a team here. Like I said, shout out to Afro Think Tank, my brother. He was talking about when he's in Nigeria, if he sees a, 14-year-olds or 16-year-old young men coming by, just, hello, sir, how are you doing, sir? But if you're in DC, you might be trying to walk across the street, fearing for your life. So that's definitely true. in Africa for the most part, especially in Uganda. I'm thinking it's very similar in Ghana too.
Because the people understand that when your parents get older, you should take care of them. And so these are the things that I feel like that are really important for us to really focus on and see that there's a lot that the Ghanaian heart has to offer, and that we also should take hold of and to integrate and understand our place in the society.
I definitely agree with this, 100%. This is one of the things I think that Uganda does very right. Even at the malls, anybody go to Acacia Mall on a Sunday, you will always see so many families, people spending a lot of time with each other, people talking to each other in the mall. In the mall in America, people walking by on their phones, but it's so much of a better social environment. People go to KFC and hang out at KFC, taking pictures at KFC. It's such a family vibe here, especially during like Ramadan, Eid, those things. Every Sunday you will see so much of a family atmosphere at Acacia Mall, any mall in Uganda. And I'm pretty sure this is very similar in Ghana and some other African countries. That family vibe is so strong, and that's something you will never get in America.
So Adam and Chiretta, you're raising two beautiful children here. How has that experience been for you, and what are some of the challenges of integrating so far?
Oh, it's really been beautiful. You know, in the States, we lived a very isolated lifestyle because of safety. You know, you want to go out, you want to take your kids to the park to play, but when you do, other kids spit at them. That is an experience that my son had at the playground on more than one occasion. And so we lived a very isolated life. So to be here and to be free and to see my kids be able to be joyful and that not be a crime has been a very, very beautiful thing.
Okay, I really love how beautiful this is sounding, and I'm just going to throw a little bit of pepe in here. Kojo, tell me, are the people who've returned romanticizing the idea of Africa a little bit?
Maybe a little bit.
Tell me about that.
Well, the truth is, we are survivors here in Ghana. And the reason why it may look like it's like we want to switch places with them is because of that doggedness that the country has built inside of us. You've gone through the educational system. You've put together yourself to be on top of society, but then there's no opportunity for you to use them and put yourself in a better place in the society.
So let me ask that question, because you did talk about immigration.
Let's talk about that. We want to trade places with them, okay? You guys are coming over here. You already have an education, so you've already benefited, but you already have your opportunities. You're in America. You're from America. Yet me, who has grown up in Ghana, I've done everything right. I went to school. I've gotten good marks. Yet the opportunities are not here for me, but it seems like the government wants you to be here and not me, because your celebrities are coming over here. So like I said, remember there were land issues and all of that. So this seems to be an issue. Emigration.
And actually, surprisingly, Ghana is one of those few countries in Africa where there are more people leaving the country than there are coming in. And that surprised me.
So think about that. More people are leaving the country than coming in. I'm pretty sure it's the same as in Uganda, right? So they're like, hey, we're trying to get out of here. You guys are coming here. Why is that?
So I want to know from the people at the back, anybody, if you got a chance, are you taking the plane to get out of Ghana? Let me see by show of hands if your answer is yes. When you hear these people come and say, hey, this is a beautiful country, we need to reinvest back on the continent, how does that make you feel?
I feel it's because they have money, that's why they're coming back home. But for me, I want to leave the country because the economy here is very bad.
Let me hear one more person at the back.
I would love to leave the country. Like, just as they are saying, when they were coming, they came with money, which is making their life comfortable. But we in the country, people are struggling on the street. If such person get opportunity, in fact, the person will leave the country.
That's very similar to my experience too. So most people are looking to get out of here and they're confused with America's coming. So that's already a disconnect. As you can see, we're coming to Africa. Some of us may be coming as business people, but most of us are coming for emotional connection. And so the people that live here are maybe disenfranchised from that emotional connection, and they're looking for a financial opportunity elsewhere. They've completely given up on the country's ability to do something right.
What do you make of it when you hear that the local population here already has an assumption that you're wealthier, that there's an income disparity inbuilt?
So about 3 weeks ago, I gave a presentation on how you can earn $250,000 and 10x your income by living in Ghana. And a case study is I had translators coming from the University of Ghana at a conference that I just had. And we hired them to teach P. They had 2 students. From the 2 students who were paying them, they were able to get enough money to pay their entire master's degree for 1 year. Generally, people think, oh, what can I do at this language? But I'm saying that you don't have to go outside, and that was a message that they learned. There's someone in the world who wants any skill that you know how to do, and they're willing to pay you richly to do it.
Let me ask Jeff what he thinks here, because he is swallowing hard.
That's a very powerful brother, Dr. Kambone. Hopefully, I can get him on the podcast. That's a very powerful brother. Love what he does.
I don't know if you think this is great advice or if you see it as somewhat condescending. What are your views?
Yes, I think what Prof is saying is quite true. Now, I heard my sister from behind me say that these people have money coming in. Yes, they may think that what they have is not enough for them as they come in here. But from the ordinary person on the streets of Accra, let's say Oxford Street, you see, if I want to walk on Oxford Street and buy what Prof is wearing, I can walk there and buy it. But can you imagine getting to Oxford Street and there's a vendor selling this thing, Prof standing there? The moment the person realizes Prof is coming from outside, his donation, the person prices this thing very high. So it brings a certain gap. But at the end of the day, once the prices go up, it doesn't come down. And we are the ones who suffer eventually.
Boom! That's something that I did not know. I'm in Uganda. Uganda is not very popular with diasporans relocating here, right? And that's probably why the few African Americans or the few black diasporans that are here don't get much animosity towards them, because, again, it's not many of us that are buying things locally. What if we were to buy a lot of local clothes and things like that? But because you have so many African Americans and black Caribbeans and black British, they're spending at a higher price. This goes up for everything, for the clothes, for the rents, and they can afford it. What about the people that can't afford it, because now the price never comes back down? So then that becomes a situation of towards animosity. Like, you are creating economic problems here. I think he's going to say that too.
And that is a problem we are facing here today. Their presence is actually creating a problem for us economically.
Whoa, their presence is creating a problem for us economically.
But I want to come back to you, Mr. Kwesi, because obviously these emotional sentiments have the potential to become something else: xenophobia, Afrophobia. Are you just telling people come in, or are you putting in place strategies so that integration is sustainable and seamless?
This lady is a great interviewer. Where in the hell did they find her?
In terms of the expectations from both sides, when we started a year of return and we started our first December in GH, the prices of goods in December more than quadrupled, because people thought, hey, this is a year of return, we have an opportunity, let's milk it. It happens everywhere. When you go to the Olympic Games, prices of everything goes up. Yeah. But then we had to meet with people at the art center, with the tour operators, with hotels, to explain to them that we are in this for the long term, that this is not just an open window for you to cash in. So it's something that we are building, but it's not going to take a day. The cultures are different, so let's try and work ourselves to integrate. So when I talk about cultural integration, it's also looking at how do we make sure that people understand what we are doing and they are not taking advantage of our brothers and sisters who are coming back.
Yeah, Jennifer, because you're the latest arrival, if I could call you that, do you feel that because of your accent, sometimes people want to take advantage of you?
I would say that sometimes that is true, but it's not just true for African Americans. I think it's true for anyone that has an American or UK accent, even if they're Ghanaian. When we're talking about Ghana, Ghana is a country that has a population of over 30 million people. There are maybe 10,000 African Americans. We're an extreme minority. So I think that sometimes we're used as a scapegoat, and that is misplaced.
It's true for anybody that has an accent, period. I have a person here, one of my senior editors is from Kenya, and if he talks, he'll get overcharged. Anybody will get it, okay? Zach McQuasis from here, he's from the Congo, he will get it, okay? Anybody in any African country, if you visit and they can tell you different, the price is gonna go up, okay? So Africans get it too when they visit other countries.
When we're talking about Ghana, Ghana is a country that has a population of over 30 million people. There are maybe 10,000 African Americans. We're an extreme minority. So I think that sometimes we're used as a scapegoat, and that is misplaced.
Do you feel this because I know that you run your own business and setting it up, was it easy for you?
If you are Ghanaian, you can set up the business for like 1,000 to 2,000 cedis. But if you are coming from outside, they're telling him, bring in $500,000. Now we'll set up, you can set up a business as the sole, owner. That is not, very easy, for anyone. If we're not having a very deep analysis of what's going on, they play black people against other black people. So just to the point, we need to understand that we're all black people and we have very common genotype, common phenotype, and a common thrust for survival that we need to have, as opposed to divide and conquer. Let's play those Asantes against the Fantes, Bloods versus Crips. They do it every single place.
Okay, but what I'm hearing is that black we may be, but our bank accounts surely are not the same.
This lady's great. How black we may be, our bank accounts are not the same. And shout out to Dr. Cambon, right? He is a guy. He's a genius. We should have more focus on him and not Dr. Umar Johnson. But what she's saying is true. No matter how much you want to look at it, and again, I'm a guy that lives in Africa, family. No matter how much you're trying to connect, it's like, oh, but he's rich. He got money. So it's not going to hurt him. Like, he can afford it. You can express all of your money issues. People, sometimes, you have days you have money, days you don't have money. But you're from America, so you are always rich. Oh, he can get it. He can get it again. So it's going to be hard to, try to build with people that also going to look at you as you have more than me. And I'm upset about that. This is not everybody, but hey, the bank accounts are not the same. My opportunity not the same. For example, I can be here doing this reaction video and I can reach the African American community and make maybe more than a person that does Kenyan YouTube or Ugandan YouTube or Nigerian YouTube. And so there are advantages to being an African American in Africa. We gotta admit that. We do have advantages. We have things that we can reach into that an African cannot. And that's needs to be really understood. African Americans do have a certain degree of privilege in Africa, in most African countries, especially Ghana. You're gonna have a little bit of an advantage.
Let me find out from Jeff how he feels hearing all these sentiments, because these are now your countrymen and women. Are you aligned with their values?
We are happy they are here.
You're not. You just said they're giving you economic problems. Why are you lying?
And would wish that we can coexist with them without having any problem whatsoever. If we see our brothers and sisters, irrespective of even the color, even if it's a white person coming to buy something, let the pricing be as it is. You understand? And maybe governments and the state agencies need to establish some kind of price control regimes so that everywhere you go, the prices will be the same, so that it doesn't come to the point where I see you pay the way you speak or pay your color, then I price the thing to suit myself just because I want to make some extra profit. That is stealing, and it's very bad.
So obviously
So not only are the African Americans being overcharged, the locals eventually end up being overcharged, something I never thought about.
Obviously, one way to do this is what Mr. Kwesi here suggested, cultural integration. And I just want to hear from the people at the back. How many people have made friends with returnees, people from the diaspora? Are you integrating with them in your communities? Let me hear from some people. Yes or no? Yeah.
Where I used to work, which is a beauty salon, a lot of the diasporans do come. What I try to do is I tell them, okay, if you want to buy this, when you get to the market and then they give you a higher price, maybe the thing is priced 100 cedis, slash it to like 50 cedis. So I try to give them tips.
All right, could you?
Yeah, us Ghanaians get the exposure when we integrate with the diaspora. It opens our eyes, it generally gives us access to so many things, to see that our skill sets can play on the global scale, and then we can, let me tell you the truth, the Ghanaian dream is that we can earn first world money while we're still here. That's the Ghanaian dream. So once the diasporans integrate with us and we are exposed to that, we don't want to go anywhere because we don't want to go and pay all the 40% taxes and all of that.
Okay, you wanted to say something to me earlier.
I just wanted to touch on the pricing of things. Being new here, we're here for just over a year now. We try to shop in our neighborhood, and because we are new and because we don't speak the language that well yet. We're learning, but the prices get hiked up.
All the time, right? This is something that you guys are gonna get used to when you come to Africa. It's not a personal thing. It's not because you're Black American, they're gonna do it to anybody, all right? Even a person that's from Uganda that has left and has a Ugandan accent or has a British accent, they will also get overcharged, okay? It won't matter who it is.
And so then we are forced to go somewhere else to spend our money, and we would prefer to spend it in our neighborhood.
And usually it's what the Chinese has. Pricing's the same for everything.
But they're hiking the price up because we're new, they don't know us yet. But it makes it harder for us when that happens to us. Yeah. It's unfair.
Okay,
can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
You know, you got to really understand culture to understand people. You know, when you come to Ghana.
But people is culture.
Yes, but when you come to Ghana, chopping is part of the culture. Yep. You just have to.
Like chop my mind.
No, not just chopping. Like whether they chop their family, they chop their friends. It's just a way. Whether the government is chopping the resources.
This is an African American brother that didn't change his name to a Ghanaian name.
It's part of the culture. So if we want to see change, then we also got to influence culture. We got to go in there and then make something like chopping repulsive, like saying it's stealing. You understand? Now, if I say a government official that chopped resources that should have went here, and he took it and reappropriated for something else, then he stole the money. See, now, if we say that instead of say he chopped the money, then at that point, he don't want to be a thief. So then he changed his behavior and his action. So it's important for us to start to look at culture and then influence culture in a way where we can bridge the difference and then we can progress as one.
Good luck in doing that, brother, in Africa. So I think you made a great point. Guys, check out this on the DFW 77% channel. Really, really good information here. It's a great conversation between the two. And a lot of this stuff relates to what I'm experiencing here in Uganda. It will be very similar. If you live in Tanzania, Gambia, you can relate. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.